Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Good evening, guys. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Um, Happy 8 o'clock. Today is 8 o'clock. Focus 10 to 13 is strength in numbers. You may or may not have seen a webinar with us before. My name is Sean. I am Irish. I have been in Milan since September. And I work in the Maya school on Via Meravigli with Thiago here.
Exactly. And yes, I'm Thiago. So as Sean said, we are colleagues. We work here in Milan. I am from Brazil originally, but I've lived in California growing up. And I've been here since 2016. And by the way, Sean, I really wanted to, congratulate you on saying my name perfectly.
Thiago.
You got it like so nice. It was so natural, like
I
very.
did a Portuguese course a few years ago, and I
Oh, did you
remember
really?
the T, the Brazilian T. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you even got the ending, because it's a bit of like almost like a Sicilian Sardinian, like with a U sound. So Chago,
Yeah.
like yeah, you said it very nicely. It's
No,
rare for people to get it right.
yeah, no, I found Portuguese very interesting because the pronunciation was very different. So I
Hmm.
concentrated quite a lot on that, and your name gives me an opportunity to
Yeah.
try
Well,
that.
I'm quite surprised that you were taught the Brazilian pronunciation.
Yeah, no, it was a Brazilian girl teaching, so we just learned
Uh,
a very Brazilian
I
Portuguese.
know that in recent years, especially, there have been lots of Brazilians going to Ireland,
Oh,
right?
yeah. I would say it's probably the number one minority, certainly in Dublin.
Number
Um,
one, really?
yeah, really, I don't know why. It's just become a real destination, lots of
Ah.
friends and things. And
Yeah, I've seen.
yeah, so
I know there
I
are a
knew a
lot of
lot of
like
Brazilian people,
work
and the
study
opportunity
programs, and
came
I
up.
think
Yeah,
that
it's
might be
kind
one
of,
of the reasons. Yeah, cool.
I don't know. Anyway, today's focus, strength in numbers. So really it's all about idioms, about number idioms, guessing the meaning of new expressions and practicing those new expressions. Why do you think there are so many number idioms, Thiago?
Hmm. I guess it really it comes from. I mean, because numbers are used, in every sort of context, and so I think it, originates just from really different sides. Different. It comes from different things, really. Because you find that in every language, not just English. Common things like number, food, etc. They tend to kind of come a lot to play in expressions as well.
Definitely, yeah. So yeah, we have some comments. Valeria from Salerno. I'm a
Musician,
musician, a
great,
flautist. Okay, hope you are
great,
fine.
Valeria.
Yeah, good. And Alfonso from Rome, Valentina, Chiara from Modena.
Yeah,
Very good.
Valentina, where are you from? Tell us your city. Great.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll get going. This first slide. What is the meaning of the word number in the following sentences? So not even idioms yet, just talking about how number can mean a lot of different things. So can you read out these examples, please,
Yeah, of
Thiago?
course. So number one, there were a number of people at the market today. Two, she wore a little black number to the party. For his last number, he sang a beautiful ballad. Could you order these pages and then number them? And she died yesterday. I guess her number was up. That's just such a terrible one. I would never say that.
Yeah.
Very morbid.
No.
Let's see, Valentina from Napoli, from Naples. Great. And I finished to teach Italian 5 minutes ago. So I'm twisting my braids now. Fantastic. Yes. Just mixing all the languages.
Yeah.
I love actually mixing. Like that's like where I am always at. Like there are expressions in Italian that work better. You know, it's really great when the person speaks both because you can just mix them up. Cool. So yeah, guys, let us know what you think
Okay.
can be
Good.
synonyms for the word number in each sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, number of people at the market is quite relevant to our situation currently.
Yeah, number of people in the queues always.
Oh, you know, Sean, you were telling me about the temperature checks. I got checked yesterday as well when I went to Esselunga. Is that where you went when you got checked?
Sorry, the connection's not great. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, because you mentioned last time we had a lesson, you said that you got your temperature checked when you went to the store. Was it Esselunga that
Yeah.
you had gone to? Ah, I see. And he did the same to me.
Yeah, I know. I went to Carrefour and there was the temperature. I think it's everywhere
Ah,
now
it's
legally or
Carrefour as well. I
something.
see. Yeah, so we got Valeria and Valentina who
Yeah.
said, yeah, like a group of people or like a crowd of people. I would say so, exactly. There are a number of people.
Hmm.
Yeah, nowadays maybe the number of people we tend to see more outside of the store lining up. It's become quite a long line.
Hmm.
Yeah, so maybe that second one can be a bit trickier. So she wore a little
Yeah.
black number to the party. So what could that refer to? Definitely focus on the verb to
Well, it
wear.
means, yeah. It's interesting because there's kind of an implication, I think, when you describe an outfit as a number, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. What would you say? So what's being communicated if you say she wore a number?
Um, yeah, it's kind of a very particular look, a very, a statement or something maybe a bit sexy, I would say, a black number, usually a dress for a woman.
Exactly. That's what Alfonso suggested. Yeah, some kind of like a Nelly. Yeah, definitely something that draws attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And then Chiara and Valentina are saying, so for his last number, he's saying, yeah, exactly. Like in this case, yeah, the last number. So number, yeah, just a song that, or not only a song, any kind, most kinds of performances. Maybe not so much in theater, not if you're acting, then it would say the last act or
Mm.
the last scene. But definitely for any kind of musical performance, or I guess also like if you go see a magician, you have like different number.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
definitely.
Yeah, Valeria also, yeah, she makes me think of a dress. Yeah, exactly, guys. Performance, yeah.
Mm.
And then for number four, we're using number a little bit differently because it's a verb.
Yeah. This one I think is a little more intuitive, though, than some of the others.
Yeah, so the fourth, it means to count the pages. Quite similar, I would say, Valeria. Maybe not count the pages, but to physically write the number. So first you order them, and then, so in case they get out of order again, it's easy to put them back together because you have numbered them. So you wrote 1, 2, 3, so to number. Alfonso has a good, to index. Yeah.
Right.
And then the last one, she died yesterday. I guess her number was up.
Yeah. Not really sure why we say that. It's come from bingo or something.
I guess, yeah, but I also think it can be used not only for death, right? I think it's any, like, to be up, like you're up or your number is up. It certainly can be used for death, but also I guess in other contexts, like if it's your turn.
Yeah, exactly. If you're waiting for something. Good. So we'll move on, I think. So we have some questions about lucky numbers. Can you read the questions, please?
Yeah, so lucky numbers. Which numbers are considered lucky or unlucky in your country, guys? So let us know. And which numbers do you know of by heart? So if you know something by heart, it means that you have memorized it. You don't have to look it up. You just know it. So for example, maybe your telephone number, your bank codes, your license plates, and maybe which ones can you just not remember, even though you should, you just can't think of it. And do you have a lucky number? And if you do, why is it lucky for you? Or if you don't have a lucky number, do you have a number that you like, a number that you're fond of? Yeah, exactly. Her moment, yeah, her turn. Great.
Okay.
So I guess like in English, but also more internationally, one number that is always unlucky is number 13.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And lucky would be 7, I think.
Yeah, 7 is a lucky number, yeah.
Yeah,
7,
I think
it's
that's just
something
Western
really,
culture.
yeah. I think it gets like it has to do with like Christianity, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. But we even have like the seventh heaven, and number 7 is like a divine number.
Yeah.
Yeah, Valentina, 17 is unlucky in Italy.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I
I've
think
asked a
sometimes
student.
it comes from gambling as well.
Yeah, gambling. To gamble. If you go to a casino, you gamble. Yeah, I had a student tell me why 17 is considered an unlucky number in Italy. So I'm not sure, how true this is, because it did feel like a stretch a bit. But, in Roman numerals, if you write down 17, you got XVII, and, as an anagram, it spells out the word vixi, which in Latin means I lived, therefore I am dead. So it's kind of like a number that alludes to death. But the whole anagram
Okay,
thing, it just
interesting.
feels a bit too much. I'm not sure if like people were just trying to justify it or if that's
Yeah.
actually the origin. And Alfonso 13, people at a table for dinner is unlucky. Yes, and that's where it comes from the Last Supper. Yeah.
Okay.
Vixi, yes, exactly. That's what I heard, Chiara. So in Napoli, we have La Smorfia, and this number represents misfortune. So, Valentina, what number exactly is La Smorfia? I've never heard of that before. It's also 13, especially if you associate it with Friday. Um, one a lot. What do you mean, Daniela, by one a lot?
Hmm.
Yeah, I was. I knew that in elevators, when if you're staying in a hotel, usually you don't have 13th floor. It goes from 12 to 14. And the same thing apparently happens on planes as well. Recently, I was flying and I had seat 14 something. And so I was watching, and then I got a little confused because I wasn't sure if those were my seats because it felt like it should be 13. But I was like, wait. And then I realized that 13 was actually missing. So it was from 12 to 14.
Yeah. I remember in 2013, the car industry had problems because nobody wanted a license plate that said 13 on it. So they had to
Oh,
invent,
really?
they had 13.1 and 13.2 or something silly to get around it. Yeah.
Yeah. And are there any numbers, Sean, that you know off by heart, that you know top of your head anytime?
I actually have a lot of problems with numbers. I think I have the version of dyslexia with numbers,
Mm-hmm.
dyscalculia. I have troubles with things like telling the time, reading a clock, that other people don't seem to, and that extends to remembering numbers. I can never remember my phone number, anyone else's phone number. I mean, my date of birth is the only number I could say I really know. Other people's birthdays, I just numbers, they don't stay in my head. They don't feel meaningful to me or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I can relate to that a little bit. There are very few numbers that I'm able to memorize. It makes it easier if I mix it with letters, but if it's only numbers, it's also quite difficult for me. Even though and this is even though it has letters in it. Living in Italy for almost 10 years now, I still haven't memorized the Codice Fiscale, which is not.
Oh
It's not
no.
even that long, and it's a combination of my name, so it shouldn't be that difficult. But can't
No.
even though you're always asked for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my phone number. I guess that one I can remember, but I've also been forgetting my PIN quite a lot recently.
Oh, that's important. I do remember
Yeah,
my pin, I
I don't
remember.
remember my PIN, but a part of it I think is that nowadays with the contactless payments, most of the purchases don't ask me for the PIN.
Oh
And so
yeah.
I'm just not used to it. So if I make a purchase that is more than 40 euros or something,
Yeah.
and they ask me, I'm just like, oh. And then you feel like there's so much pressure, and then it's even worse, and it's all gone.
Yeah. For numbers like that, I always pick a year. Not my year of birth, it's too obvious, but I pick a different one because that helps me to
I see. So
remember.
that's an extra smart move, yeah, because you can always change it. I keep forgetting that I could do that. So I
Yeah.
just tried to memorize what the bank gave me.
No, no, I made my own one.
Cool. So let's see. Chiara, I've lived in the UK for a year. My host family told me that their 13 is a very bad lucky number. Yes, exactly. And I told them that in Italy the same is 17. Yep, very good. Valentina saying, I know my Codice Fiscale because everyone asks for job application. Yes, like the Codice Fiscale is asked for everything here.
Yeah, and they're very shocked when you don't know it.
When you don't know it. Yeah, 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 exactly. In the US, we have what we call, I guess the equivalent is the Social Security number, which is also asked for a lot of things, but they tend to ask only for the 4 last numbers, so it's much easier to remember. But the
Okay.
Codice Fiscale is what? It's a lot of digits to remember.
Mm, mm.
Valeria, I know my many numbers by heart, like phone numbers in general, my Codice Fiscale, ID number. Oh, wow, Valeria. Valeria, do you have a trick that you use to remember? Do you make associations, or how can you remember? You said phone numbers in the plural, so you also remember other phone numbers. How do you do that? I don't know anyone's phone number. See, if I'm in an emergency situation without my phone,
No,
I can call the police. That's about it.
yeah, I'm the same. I think you have to attach a melody to them or some kind of trick. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, the Codice Fiscale. Yeah, it's a very Italian, I guess. Yeah, like the word itself is Italian. See, in the U.S., I call it a Social Security number, even though it's not quite the same, but it's used for tax purposes and maybe like Social Security benefits. Um, I'm guessing even in Ireland, you have something that is called differently, right, Sean? It's probably not a is it, or is it also Social Security?
We have a number. I think we call it, I'm trying to remember. It's like a PPS number or something like that. But we really don't use it ever. Um, Very rarely I've have to find it. I don't know what it is. Most people don't. In Ireland, this is a UK thing. There's not so much a culture of carrying or presenting identification. It's viewed as somehow infringing on your freedom, I guess. It's kind of a
Yeah.
British thing.
In the US as well.
Yeah, and we only have passports.
Yeah, so also
Yeah.
even if you wanted to, you cannot get like any kind of national ID.
No,
So
there is
only
no national
passports.
ID, no form.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay. Well, I guess it's kind of similar in the US, as in, you're never required to have identification because, as you said, it's almost like a violation of your right, I guess, to keep your privacy, to be anonymous or something. So no, the police can never stop you and demand to see your documents, which is something that I heard in Italy. You always need to have your ID on you because the police could always just stop you randomly for no reason. And that's another thing. The police cannot stop you for no reason. They need to have to give you at least, in something theoretical to stop you for. Um, I guess you have driver's licenses. That's what most people have, but that is also not national. It's a state issue document. So the U.S. government, they wouldn't have access to that kind of info. They could maybe request the state for it, but it's not the national government's.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting.
And what
Okay.
about an idea of a lucky number? Do you have one, Sean, or a number that you like?
For me, the lucky number has been 8,
8.
always. I decided that because I'm born the 18th of May, 1998. So 2 8s was enough. I
I
decided
see.
8 was my number, and it's always
Cool.
been. Yeah. How about you? Do you have a lucky one?
Not really. I don't have a really lucky number. For some reason, like number 21, like sounds good. Like I have like positive associations with it. But I think it might simply just be that in the US, you need to be 21 to do a lot of things. That's like when you really become like a real
Yeah.
person. And so maybe that's it. It's just like it's a number that I've always looked forward to. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
See, most days I finish work at 21 o'clock. So 21 is just like a number, blackjack,
Mm.
21. So maybe it's just like a common number that I kind of have good associations with. I'm not sure though. Chiara has a question. In the UK, the equivalent is it could be. I can actually look it up here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, Kara. It's called the National Insurance Number. So national, and just Googled it. Insurance number, and that's the British equivalent of the Codice Fiscale. So Valeria's giving us her tricks. So she said, "When I was a child, I trained a lot in order to find out a method to memorize things, like also the enormous amount of notes I had to learn by heart for my music study. So I practiced by writing down every possible, like also all the birthday dates of my family, their phone numbers, their ID, their codice fiscale. And then I just repeated them many times in my mind." Crazy. Wow. Yes, that sounds
Oh
intense.
my God. You remember
Yeah.
your family's numbers. That's crazy. I forget
Yeah.
my family's birthdays
Oh my
sometimes.
gosh, same. There was one year I felt so guilty that I forgot my mom's birthday. So now I have like it's on my calendar every year on repeat, so I get a notification because before I had Facebook, Facebook was my savior for birthdays.
Oh yeah.
But then ever
Yeah.
since I got rid of it, I don't know anyone's birthday.
Yeah, no, I'm very bad for that. And when it's my birthday and not very many people say happy birthday, I realize, oh, this is because I don't I don't
Yeah.
remember anyone's birthday. This is the consequence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, I didn't say maybe it's 65 because I want a telephone with it. Ah, cool. So you played that number in some kind of game and you won. Great.
Yeah.
That's her lucky number. All right.
Okay, great. We'll move on to the idioms. So, yeah, an idiom is an expression that means something other than the literal meanings of its individual words. Many English idioms involve numbers or number phrases. So, we have a first example. They are on cloud nine. So, I think this couple in the car just got married. So, what does this phrase mean to you? This is a very common phrase, and I don't actually know the origin.
Yeah, so I looked it up, and it's not really, there's no consensus really on the full meaning of it or where it comes from, the origin.
Yeah.
But apparently, in I forget the year now, but like years and years and years ago, there was a classification of types of clouds, and cloud nine referred to that really kind of like the full, like the cute little clouds, and which is, I guess, yeah, makes people happy. And so if you are on cloud nine, it means that you are very happy, very
Yeah,
content.
exactly.
Like as we see in the picture, right? It looks like we have a couple that has just gotten married. Yeah, Chiara, great. Something like, yeah, to be in the seventh heaven. Yes.
Yeah, great.
Paradise. Exactly, 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 guys.
Good. So you know these ones, yeah. And we have other examples here. So we need to match these to their definitions.
Yeah, exactly, Daniela. So in English, we can say that as well. So to be in the seventh heaven.
Mm, mhm. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So for these ones, can you try and match the numbers and the letters? So can you just read through them, Thiago?
Yes, of course. So we have the first expression is the four corners of the earth at six and sevens, once in a blue moon, a dime a dozen, back to square one, and to kill two birds with one stone.
Hmm. I think these are quite good because often when we teach idioms, I must admit I would use the idioms very rarely. But these ones, I really do use them. Some
Mm-hmm.
of them a lot. Once in a blue moon, kill two birds with the one stone. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Back to square one. I also feel like I use that one a bit.
Yeah. So we have some responses. 1B from Valentina and Valeria. Yeah, exactly. All over the world. Very good. Hmm. Would you use it sixes and sevens?
No,
No.
not really. I have to be honest. I had to look this up today as I was looking at
Yeah.
the slides. I was also looking at it, and it seems to be a quite old expression. Dates
Okay.
back to like the 1300s.
Oh, wow.
So maybe has like fallen out of, at least like I don't know, for I never really heard it before, or I might have. I just never questioned it.
Yeah, so they have in a state of
Yeah,
confusion.
nice job
Yeah.
here, Vanya. So a
Okay,
state of
well,
confusion at 6 and 7s.
yeah. So then number 3, A exactly. Once in a blue moon, very rarely.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
blue moon, just so you guys also know what it means. So if in the same month you have 2 full moons, we call that second full moon a blue moon. And that happens very rarely. And that's why we say once in a blue moon.
Yeah. And then number 4, did someone get this?
Number 4, not
No, not yet.
yet. F,
Dime a dozen.
yes.
This one is quite American because, of course, a
Because of the
dime is
dime,
American.
yeah. Yeah, dime is 10 cents. So it's like saying with 10 cents, you get 12 of whatever it is that you're buying. So that means that whatever you're buying is really cheap. It's everywhere. Yeah, dime a dozen.
Okay, I'm back to square one. 5D. Yeah. To start over. Very good. So I think like a board game, it comes from something like Monopoly. And then kill 2 birds with 1 stone, solve 2 problems at once. Very good, everyone. You seem to be familiar with these. Excellent. Okay, so now we have to put these idioms into the gaps. So these are other number idioms. So second thoughts by the dozens, on cloud 9, which we saw, 1 too many, a million bucks, 2 left feet, third time's the charm, dressed to the nines, and 3 sheets to the wind. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
So if we start off, yesterday I went to my sister's wedding. Everyone was something. So what's that?
Yeah, and a good expression is also the title there. We have one for the books. So that's an expression that we use, especially if an event or maybe just something that happened is so epic and so great that it's worth writing about. And so in this case, we have someone describing their sister's wedding. And so they're saying the sister's wedding was one for the books. It was something really big happened. It was an epic wedding. So it's worth writing about.
Definitely. Yeah, very good. I think we'll start going through it and see if the comments come through later. So everyone was dressed to the nines. Did you investigate this one? Is it to do with
I did
Cloud
not,
Nine?
not to the nines, no. But I can very quickly address the nines origin.
Maybe it's 9 out of 10 or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought originally. Yeah, but then I was like, why not 10, right? So still, so another clothing origin suggests the phrase descends from the Old English "dress to the eyes," which because Old English was weird, was written as "dress to eye," like EYNE.
Okay, so it just got mixed up with the
Yeah, but
number.
there isn't really consensus here. There are different theories.
Interesting. Interesting.
But yeah, it's dressed very nicely. Yeah, dressed to the nines, elegantly, especially.
Exactly. And Valeria has number 2, a million bucks. Exactly.
Yeah.
Again, this one is definitely American. A buck is a dollar, isn't it?
Yes, a buck is a dollar, and it can mean, in this case, to look like $1,000,000. So to look very good, not necessarily expensive, although usually it's associated with that as well. But you can also feel like $1,000,000, and that just means that you feel great.
Yeah, good. So she was something the whole day. I'm not sure about this. Okay, I think on cloud 9, no?
Yeah,
Like we said.
exactly. Valentina and Kat, I just got that. Yes.
Very good. I thought for sure she would have had something about getting married. So this one isn't as positive.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
if you're not so sure, so you decide you're going to get married, but then you're, should I get married? Another expression we can use is to get cold feet.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Funny one. I don't know where that comes from. To get cold feet.
Yeah. Also talk about wedding jitters specific to weddings.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yes, great Kata.
Second
She
thought
would have had second thoughts. Great.
about getting married. So after all, she'd already tied the knot twice, but she just smiled and said something. Tied the knot. That's a good.
Oop, not no, but not. Misspell that.
Yeah, so to tie the knot, it just means to get married, exactly. It's a synonym. I don't know what the knot is. Is it? Oh, it's actually in the ceremony,
Like,
don't they?
yeah. Is there like a knot? Yeah, I was
I
maybe
think,
thinking like before, like a ring. Like, nowadays
I,
rings are very common. Maybe in the past when they were scarce, maybe people tied a knot around the finger.
no, I actually remember, I think it's a Protestant thing. In the royal wedding, they actually tie a string between the bride and groom.
Ah,
I think it's a Anglican thing.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. She smiled and said, exactly, third time's the charm. That's a nice one. Or I would also say third time lucky. That's a common one as well. Okay. By midnight, the dance floor was packed. Something. Yeah, exactly. Packed means crowded. Yeah, by the dozens. I had a blast, even though I have. Mhm. So this one is 2 left feet, which is when you're not good at dancing, when you can't dance. Because obviously if you have 2 left feet, you wouldn't dance very well. Yeah, no, not one too many. I think that's the next one now. The only drawback of the evening was my brother who had one too many, exactly, and ended up 3 sheets to the wind. So interesting, one too many is always drinking, always the context of drinking, I think. You wouldn't say one too many cakes or anything, just always if one,
Yeah, I had one too many. Yeah, for drinking.
yeah. And 3 sheets to the wind, that's one, there's definitely no explanation there.
Yeah, just really drunk. 3 sheets to the wind. I wonder if it's because like the way you're moving, you're kind of stumbling. So if you think like 3 sheets to the wind, it gets scary, it just
Yeah,
flies around, maybe.
yeah, it could be. But yeah, you can see just how much you can pack idioms into
Yeah,
a
just one
phrase.
little, yeah. And all those, yeah, they're pretty, I'd say all of them are used quite a bit.
Yeah, standard.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we have questions with them. So we'll discuss the questions and please answer, you guys. Let us know if you have First of all, have you ever had second thoughts about something? Thiago, have you ever had second thoughts about something?
Mm, I mean, I certainly have. Let me think of an example about. Um, I mean, like a big one, of course, was whether or not I should try to kind of stay in Italy, because when I first tried to move here, it was quite difficult, finding a job that would allow me to stay here. So even though I really wanted to, after months of like looking for a job and trying to find a way to do it, after a while, I was having second thoughts. I thought that maybe all the effort wasn't worth it, and that maybe I should just go back home. But then, luckily, I was able to find employment and I was able to stay. But yeah, I had a bit of second thoughts. And
Yeah, I had a similar experience in university. In the first weeks, I was not sure that I'd chosen the right subjects to study, but so I was having second thoughts. Should I change my course? But I stayed, and it turned out to be good. I got used to the change. I think it's very common to when you start university to be
yeah,
unsure.
so in Ireland, so it's kind of like in Italy, as in you have to choose your course before, so you don't get
Yeah.
to decide during your studies.
No, it's
I
not
see.
like America. You immediately specialize. I did two subjects, art history and philosophy, and that was it.
Yeah, because when you're 18, yeah, I mean, even honestly, by the time I was pretty much done with my degree, I still wasn't that sure that my choice was really the best one. I still didn't know
Okay.
what I wanted to do. Even to this day, I mean, see, I like teaching, I like education. Do I really know what I want to do later on? I don't. So yeah, it's
Okay.
a lot of responsibility, I think, for an 18-year-old to choose and have to
Yeah.
stick with it.
So in American university, how many subjects do you wind up doing?
It really depends on the institution, depends on the college, the university. But what generally happens is that no matter what you end up majoring in, there are always general requirements that everyone needs to do. And so you can always start with the general requirements, and those also usually will then apply to whatever major you end up doing. For example, we had to do two courses in each sort of like macro area. So, two courses in the humanities, two courses in the social sciences, and two courses in the sciences. Like, no matter what. So, even if I were to major in music, I still had to maybe take some kind of science course, which could be astronomy or biology or chemistry or etc. But we all had to do something, so you can start with those. It also lets you explore the subjects a bit more before deciding. I quite liked that because I would have studied economics at first, because it just felt like, in terms of, I'm making this investment, I'm spending all this money, so I'm going to go into an area that will employ me. And
Yeah.
then I just really wasn't into it once I started. So I'm glad that I
Okay.
was able to change my mind later on. Usually after the second year is when you choose.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. It's
So
the other thing.
Chiara is saying she had same second thoughts as me. So when you were in the UK, so Chiara,
Hmm.
so ultimately, did you decide to move back to Italy? And why did you have some second thoughts? What were some of the factors? Of course, if they're not too personal and you want to share them with us.
Yeah. So do you know anyone who has two left feet? As someone in Ireland, a lot of Irish people can't dance, and I actually can. I like dancing a lot. So a lot of my friends, my sister, nobody could dance. Do you know anyone with two
Yeah,
left
I
feet?
think I'm kind of, at least based on the expectation, when people, think that I'm from Brazil, I got all that Latino blood, they would expect me to be able to dance. I mean, I wouldn't say I am horrible, but, I think people tend to have a certain expectation, and I certainly didn't grow up dancing. It was not something I did much
Okay.
of. I enjoy dancing, but I wouldn't say I'm skilled at it. So yeah,
Okay.
I kind of have two left feet.
Oh, okay. Good. Interesting. So,
So I always have my second thought when I order a pizza. Oh, did I take the right one? Oh, that other one looks so much better.
yeah.
Yes.
So the
And
third,
yeah, third one, I mean, I think that's our college experience. Yes, we're at three
yeah.
sheets to the wind.
But
Certainly.
you were saying earlier that in college, I mean, did you have to have a fake ID to drink? I mean, to me, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I never had a fake ID, but I mean, obviously, half the population are is legally allowed to drink, half the population isn't, and so there's never a lack of alcohol. If anything, I actually thought that that whole system was worse, and it led more people to being three sheets to the wind because if you can't really properly socialize and learn how to do so responsibly, you end up doing it locked up inside a room. And if you're locked up inside a room, how do you get entertained? You start playing loads of drinking games, and it becomes this. There's no entertainment other than competing and just chugging alcohol.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
an RA, which is kind of a person who helps manage the dormitory area, sort of
Yeah.
and
Residential
the
system.
residential, yeah, the residential areas. And I remember my first year as an RA in my building. Within the first like 2 or 3 months, I don't quite remember, we had more than 10 hospitalizations from alcohol poisoning. Just because people go crazy. It's their first time. In the US, we don't have a big culture of drinking before college. So kids don't grow up drinking. And then all of a sudden, it's like, here, all the alcohol is available, but you can't do so responsibly. And the university can't properly educate you because the message needs to be you cannot drink. So,
Yeah. I guess that's the difference in Ireland. I drank from quite a young age. I think I was 13 or 14 the first time I was drunk. So I mean, by the time I was in university, it was old news. Nobody was getting hospitalized.
yeah,
And
because
it's
people learn
legal at
how
18.
to behave. Yeah. Yeah, because for us
Yeah.
it's very, very difficult. When you were in high school, if you want to get alcohol, how do you do it? You would need to ask an adult to buy it for you, but then that person is risking a lot to get you that bottle of alcohol. And so, I grew up in California, and so actually one of the easiest substance for people to do was actually marijuana, much more than alcohol, because it's so
Really?
much
Oh,
easier to. And back then it was illegal, and so I think it was even easier to buy because you
oh,
buy it at
interesting.
school, So yeah,
Hmm.
so it was definitely a different culture in that sense.
Yeah.
Um, Chiara, so she shared her story. So I've been there for a year. So after the first month, I found a job and I was very happy there. Then an Italian company called me for an interview and offered me a very good job. So I decided to come back. Well, that must have been a really hard decision, Chiara, especially since you were really enjoying your time there.
Yeah, it's just the opportunities don't really come with where you want to be sometimes.
Hmm.
Okay, we'll just look at the last one. When was the last time you felt on cloud nine and why? Hmm.
Uh, yeah, these days I think I've been all about finding little moments of happiness. I think, yeah, I haven't been on cloud nine for a couple weeks, a few weeks now, because I've been stuck at home.
It's
Um,
certainly very positive, isn't it, cloud nine? It's not a
yeah,
normal
it's like
routine
it's
kind of.
just so much happiness. Well, last August, I went to a music festival, and I had a fantastic time. It was really, really a lot of fun. I remember being super happy. But I guess, yeah, on music festivals, everyone is on cloud nine. It's just like that's what you're there for. You're there to have fun, dance, be silly. Guess that
Yeah.
was like the last time that I had this huge kind of burst of happiness. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I think just before the quarantine, the few times I spent, time hanging out with friends and you can really, laugh together. I miss that, because you can really get very happy just making jokes together with people.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
more difficult on the phone.
yeah. And Daniela's saying the last time I was on Cloud9 was 2 weeks ago when I saw the sea while I was going to the grocery store. Oh, I wish I could see the sea while going to the grocery store. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sea makes me very happy as well. Great.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we're up for time, but I think we got to grips with some good, certainly very common number idioms there. Do you have anything to add,
No,
Thiago?
I think that's it. Yeah, so
Hmm.
do try to incorporate, guys. Obviously, trying to do all of them will be tricky, but choose a few that you like. I saw someone earlier mentioning they really like the once in a blue moon, for example. So these are like really easy to incorporate. So next time, instead of saying almost never, rarely, say once in a blue moon. Back to square one. Like, see, certainly some of them are used more than others. See, once in a blue moon, back to square one, to kill two birds with one stone. I think they're more common than the others. So you can start with those and slowly incorporate them into your sentences. We'll be on cloud 9 when quarantine will be finished. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And three sheets to
and
the wind, though I think a lot of people are already doing that.
yes, we'll all go for an aperitif. Okay,
Exactly. All right,
everyone.
guys.
See you
Thank
next
you.
webinar.
Have a lovely evening. Bye bye.